Hello, good morning, dear students. Welcome to KLS Gupte College of Commerce, Belagavi. Myself, Professor S.B. Bendigeri, Department of Economics, taking online classes for 4th semester students. Dear students, in the last class, we have started the last topic of the economic subject, that is MNCs. So, in that class, in the first video of that class, I have completed the introduction, meaning, definitions, and characteristics of multinational corporations. Now, in today's class, in the video number 2, in the second class, let us understand the most important topic, the continued part of the same topic, that is advantages and disadvantages of MNCs. Dear students, this is a most important topic for a 15 marks question, as explain the advantages and disadvantages of MNCs. And sometimes they may ask one 5 marks question on the same topic as advantages of MNCs. Okay. Now look at the advantages of MNCs. Now let us have a brief look on the advantages of MNCs. Advantages means the benefits. The benefits in the sense what amount of profit can be earned by a host country by these multinational corporations. Once MNCs are starting their business in host countries, what amount of benefit can be earned by the number of different host countries, and what kind of advantages, what kind of expectations, positive expectations can be expected by those host countries by these MNCs. If you are looking at the advantages, the benefits, look at the first one, that is a vehicle for transfer of technology. What it means? MNCs are a good indicator of transfer of technology. It means, as we studied in the previous class, multinational corporations are those corporations or companies which are having their headquarters at a home country and activities in the host countries. As they are having different activities in different countries of the world, in host countries, they transfer different type of technology which is suited to that particular geographical boundary, and this technology can be carried out to the entire world, suitable to that particular country. And this kind of technology is surrounded the entire world, for example, and it is like a vehicle means it carry forward, it is transport from one place to another, means one country to another country, to increase the production level as well as the service level of the MNCs. So MNCs are acting as a vehicle for transfer of technology. So these MNCs transferring their technology through that host countries to the entire world. So it's a kind of benefit to that host countries. They can use that kind of technology even for their domestic purposes, for their domestic industries. Look at the second one, second advantage, that is bringing capital. Basically, most of the developing countries are what we call it as labor oriented, labor rich countries. If you are taking example of India and China, these two countries are labor rich countries but capital poor countries. In these labor rich and capital poor countries, it is very essential to invite MNCs to make balance, to bring balance in the capital investment. So if a country is facing the problem of scarcity of capital investment, if that country is inviting MNCs, there is a possibility of solving the scarcity of capital. So it means what? MNCs are bringing capital for those countries which are facing problem of capital investment. So these are helping especially for developing countries and as well as backward countries. Okay, so MNCs always bringing capital as a, for example, if we will, as a, for example, what we call it as 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 um, blood is important for human body, like that capital is important for most of the developing countries. If they want a huge amount of capital, they can invite MNCs, strong and comprehensive and big MNCs from rich countries to bring balance in the capital investment. Look at the third important advantages of MNCs. That is, it improve the BOT and BOP position of the host country. This is most important. First, we have to understand what is BOT and what is BOP. BOT means balance of trade. It means it is the merchandise difference between countries' exports and imports. And BOT is always concerned with only the physical goods, not the services, invisible goods, okay, invisible items. So invisible services are not included in the BOT. And look at the BOP. BOP is a mirror index for the development of the country. It reflects as a mirror index of the developing countries. BOP position must be always balanced. If it is not balanced, there is no possibility of economic growth and development of the country. BOP means what? It is the merchandise difference between the country's exports and imports of both visible and invisible items. Okay. But in case of BOT, that is the merchandise difference between countries' exports and imports of only visible items. But BOP includes both visible and invisible items like services. So we can bring balance in balance of payments as well as balance of trade when we are inviting MNCs continuously. When MNCs are continuously invited by developing countries, they can bring balance in balance of payments as well as balance of trade supposed to be. Okay, if there is a surplus BOP, for example, there are three types of BOPs: surplus BOP, deficit BOP, and balance of payments. Surplus BOP in the sense when exports are more than imports. Deficit BOP means when the country's exports are less than its imports. And balanced BOP means when the country's exports are equal to its imports, for example. That is called as BOP. For example, balance of payments. So to bring balances in these two sophisticated, for example, weapons, which are very much important in a developing country. So we can bring balance by inviting more number of MNCs. Okay. Now look at the fourth one, bringing new management technology. MNCs are known for a strong and effective management technology. They always expect work. They never expect, for example, service. They never provide services. They always expect. They are what we call it as work oriented. MNCs are work oriented, not service oriented. So their management is very, very strong. Look at take the example of Mercedes-Benz cars. Mercedes company is known for its strong and improved management technology. So here what we understand is there are some MNCs which are very strong, which are always in a top position only because of their strong management technology. Okay, so we can also utilize that kind of strong management technology even in our domestic activities when we are inviting different types of MNCs. Okay, look at the fifth one, increase employment. So MNCs are employment oriented, employment potential, what we call it as. Employment potential means MNCs create more number of employment opportunities for the people of host countries as well as developing countries, what we call it as, or underdeveloping countries. Okay, but one problem is there. The basic problem behind the increase in employment in case of MNCs is There are millions or trillions of jobs available in MNC, but there is no qualified candidates for that. Okay, they expect always qualified, suitable candidates. But moreover, MNCs are always known for increasing employment opportunities in host countries. Take the example of India. In India, India is the richest country in the population, but we don't have lots of employment opportunities. If we invite MNCs, more number of rural, for example, people can get employment opportunities in MNCs. Okay. Uh, Look at the next one, contributing to the social welfare. Dear students, MNCs are investing not only in a single, for example, or a specified sector. MNCs are investing their capital investment in agriculture, industries, and as well as tertiary sector like service sector. Okay, they also invite more amount of capital investment in development of schools, development of roads and transportation communities. Transportation communication as well. Okay, so MNCs not even investing capital in only profit oriented business or sectors, they also invest capital in the welfare activities like development of schools, roads, and transportation. Okay, look at the next one. It provides trained workers. MNC is always expecting trained, skilled workers, educated workers in their business. If the people of the developing countries or host countries are not properly educated, if they are not properly qualified, they must have qualification, they must have the suitable qualification for getting employment opportunities in MNCs. So here what happens, always MNCs can provide trained workers, in the sense we can utilize the trained workers of MNCs even in our domestic activities. Look at the last advantage of the MNC, that is it improve the peace and prosperity and modernization. It improve the peace and prosperity in the sense what? Uh, Basically, MNCs are known for, first thing is profit oriented. They are always profit oriented, and when they are appointing, when they are giving employment opportunities for more number of people of the host country, they always provide the what we call it as attractive salaries for them. When workers are getting regular attractive salaries, there is no unhappiness, there is no misery, there is no diseases, there is no social disturbance, what we call it as, and we can maintain peace inside the country, and as well as prosperity, and also we can control the foreign attackings. When MNCs are investing huge amount of investment on arms and ammunition, uh, we can produce a huge amount of for example, what we call it as equipments, for example defense equipments. So with the help of that we can maintain peace and prosperity even at the borders also. Okay, and look at the next important aspect is modernization. MNCs brings modernization in all the sectors. Or modernization means we can adopt modified technology in all the sectors like agriculture, industry, and tertiary sector. Basically, developing countries are known for their own outdated, for example, technology. So when we are inviting MNCs, we can adopt that modified technology in all the sectors to increase the production level of all the sectors. So these are about the advantages of MNC. Now look at the disadvantages of MNCs. As MNCs are having different advantages, but they never far away from disadvantages. MNCs are having most endangered disadvantages. Out of that, look at the first one, MNCs and national sovereignty. It means what? National sovereignty means once multinational corporations are entering into host countries for their business, they are not only interfering in the business activities of the host countries, they slowly and simultaneously start interfering in the political affairs as well as social affairs as well as financial affairs of the host country. Okay, when they are slowly and simultaneously take participation and interfering in the political activities and financial activities as well as cultural activities and social activities, they start a kind of ruling. For example, the best example for that is British rule in India. Till 1947 we were under British rule. That is the best example for participating and interfering in the national sovereignty. Okay, once they start interfering in the local activities, they never go back. Okay, they start having a control on that. Okay, so this is the most important disadvantage of MNCs. MNCs brings foreign culture. Basically what I said, most of the big MNCs, strong MNCs are in developed countries. Okay, they are rich countries. They are capital rich countries, what we call it as. Once the capital rich countries are having a businesses in labor rich countries, they start for example inculcating, nurturing their own culture in the host country, for example. And the next one, MNCs expect public policies in the favor of them in host countries. Whatever public policy means, government policies. Whatever government policies are there, when government is implementing policies periodically, if government of a host country inviting MNCs, government always should prepare that kind of policy, implement that kind of policy which is always suited and favorable to the MNCs. Okay, they always expect that. If governments of host countries are not, for example, preparing public policies according to the favor of the MNCs, MNCs are not investing, for example, their investment, they are withdrawing their investment. Okay, so to avoid that and to solve the problem of scarcity of capital formation, most of the host countries as well as developing countries always implementing their public policies in the favor of MNCs, for example. Look at the next one, brain drain. It is very interesting. Brain drain in the sense, MNC is always looking at, they are always hitting intellectuals of the host countries, and they are catching the intellectuals of the host countries and shifting them to their respective countries. So it means what, the local intellectuals are drained from host countries to, for example, home countries of the MNCs. If such is the condition, we are lacking with the intellectuals in the different sectors, for example, that is called as brain drain. They are draining the intellectual brains of the domestic host countries. Look at the next one. The technology developed by MNCs is not suited to the developing countries. Whatever technology which is developed by MNCs in host countries, sometimes what happens, that kind of technology, strong technology, is not suited for the host countries' atmosphere, for the host countries' consumer goods, for the host countries, for example, culture supposed to be. Okay, so it can happen. If it is not suited, there is no benefit by MNCs to that particular host country. Okay, MNCs exploit domestic physical and natural resources. Basically, multinational corporations are known for exploiting maximum work. They expect maximum work and they pay, for example, less amount of salaries, and they also exploit the local domestic resources for their benefit. Okay, when they are having their activities in the host countries, they always have a look on the resources which are available in that particular country, and they are exploiting it and they get maximum profit and they carry it to their nation. Look at the next one, uncertainty. Here, uncertainty is nothing but most of the MNCs are scale down their operations. Look at this very interesting point. Most of the MNCs are scale down their operations and activities in the host country when there is a economic uncertainty. Okay, if MNCs are scaled down means withdrawing their operations or activities in the host countries at the time of economic uncertainty of the host country, it is a great loss. It is a loss by all the means for the host country, for example. So it is also a most important disadvantage of the MNC, for example. Okay, I hope all of you understood, my dear students. If it is there in the examination, try to explain all these brief points in what way I explained. Okay, if you are explaining these points for 15 marks in brief, you will get expected marks. Okay, with this, let us stop our today's discussion. The remaining part of this same topic we shall discuss in the next video classes. Okay, till then, have a nice time. Take care of yourself and your family. Okay, wear mask and maintain social distance. Thank you very much.